Little Shop of Sweaters is a brilliant Full House episode and one that I remembered really well from the first time that I watched the show. This is the 14th episode of the second season. It's directed by Peter Baldwin, and there will be spoilers from now as I talk about various aspects of the episode. And it starts off with everybody saying Happy Valentine's Day, and it always amuses me how much Valentine's Day seems to be a big celebration in the States. It definitely isn't in the UK, at least not for school-age children. But I think it's really sweet that children give each other little Valentine's Day cards and their families give each other gifts. I think that's really sweet. And DJ gets this brand new royal blue sweater. It's very vibrant and she's really excited about it. She wears it to school. And unfortunately, not really her fault, but she very sensibly takes it off while playing, I think she was playing soccer at recess. And she puts it on the ground, maybe not the smartest decision, and the gardener mows over the sweater. And it's in 3 bits, it's a mess, and obviously she's devastated and she doesn't want to tell Danny. So with Kimmy's help and Stephanie's piggy bank, she goes to the store to buy another one, but it's $80 and she doesn't have enough. And Stephanie, in her naivety, sees a sign that says buy now, pay later, and thinks it means that she can take it away and pay later. And that's what she does. She puts the sweater in her bag, and DJ doesn't find out until they get home. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Obviously, it's a pretty shocking moment when Stephanie swoops it into her bag. Nobody notices. Quite dramatic. How are they going to resolve this? We'll look at it in a bit. But first of all, we have some really funny moments and some really sweet moments. Joey is dressed as Popeye. Cheryl is dressed as Olive Oil. And the fact that Joey and Cheryl are still together, I think, is really great. They don't make a huge song and dance about this relationship, but every now and then Cheryl will pop up, and they do seem really, really great together. And we also have Michelle as Little Sweepy. Michelle is adorable in this episode, and her acting is really, well, Mary-Kate and Ashley's acting is really coming along at this point. I'd love to see some behind the scenes. I don't know if there are any behind the scenes on the DVDs. I'm watching this on Amazon Prime. I paid for the season on Amazon Prime. But if anybody knows if the DVDs have any kind of behind the scenes, do let me know. I might actually look at investing in some. But Michelle, absolutely adorable. And then we get to Jessie and Becky, who have had a lovely romantic evening. Jessie has bought her some gorgeous earrings. Well, I assume they're gorgeous. We don't really see them. She's bought him an Elvis spoon. And Jessie does something that I think is quite surprising, given his personality. And he basically commits to Becky, and that's really sweet, and it's a really interesting turning point, because up until this point, Jessie's not really had a steady relationship, but it's clear that he is besotted with Becky. And Becky doesn't reciprocate it. Instead, she tells him she has another date at the weekend, and I don't think that's expected. I don't think it's expected of Becky. It's also very interesting, and in a way a good thing, that we have the man wanting to commit and the woman wanting to still see other people, because stereotypically it's usually the other way on. In TV shows and films, it's usually the other way on. So while I don't necessarily love the fact that Becky still wants to spend time with other people, I do like the fact that they're showing that actually it can happen the other way on as well. And I really appreciated what they did there. What's also really impressive about this is the way Jessie responds to this, because initially he does get angry. And I understand that. But they could have ran with that. They could have made Jessie storm up to his room or call the date off, finish the evening. And it would have been quite dramatic, but a little bit emotional. But instead, after that brief flash of anger, he just says, no, I want you. I want to commit to you. And I think that was, again, really unexpected and a really lovely way to take things. And it was just a really lovely scene. And I love Becky. So it definitely didn't go the way I think anybody expected. But it worked really well. And then we get back to the sweater. The girls try and do the right thing by returning the sweater to the mall. And unfortunately, they get caught, and obviously they get caught looking like they're shoplifting when in fact they're doing the opposite. But their parents are called, and obviously they get into quite a bit of trouble. And we have two really lovely moments here. The first is that Danny reassures DJ that she can come to him if she has a problem. She doesn't need to do everything alone. And I think that that's a really important message, that if you have a problem, it's better to talk it out and find a resolution rather than, well, trying to buy a sweater than your little sister accidentally stealing one. But the other lovely moment, and it's really rare, certainly at this point in the show, is we have a lovely bonding moment between DJ and Stephanie. And they have a lovely sister moment where they say they'll always be sisters and they'll always be there for each other. And it's amplified by the fact that they're color coordinated. They're both wearing very similar shades of kind of baby blue and baby pink, and just that never happens either. They usually dress very differently, but to have them wearing the similar colors, the clothing styles are different, but the clothing is very similar in color, and it just helps to reinforce that bond between them, which I thought was really, really sweet. It's a really great episode. As I said, it's one I remember really, really well from the first time I watched it, and it doesn't surprise me. It's also quite unusual at this stage to have everybody in it. Danny, Joey, Jesse, Stephanie, DJ, Michelle, Kimmy, and Becky, and Cheryl. It's rare that that happens. So really thoroughly enjoyed this. Maybe one of my favourite episodes from this season. Little Shop of Sweaters is pretty awesome.